Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about how I found out I was pregnant at 19 years old and the reactions of all of my family members. And we've got Liam, who is going to be falling asleep pretty soon. It's both of their nap time coming up, so they're really tired, and Claymore is getting like his shy nap time, like kind of thing. They either get cranky or shy, but they seem pretty calm at the moment. Let's see if they stay calm. So Eli and I got married in July of 2015, and in about August of that year, I think it was, his cousin was giving birth to her first baby, who was a girl. That weekend, my husband and I were staying at our in-laws' house, well, my in-laws' house, and that was like way more north of the hospital than our home was. So their house is probably like an hour and 45 minutes away from the hospital we went to. And then our house is somewhere in between that area, well, our apartment. So Eli's back there with his brother and his dad, and his mom and I went to the hospital to go and meet the baby and like, you know, see if his cousin was doing okay and everything. So when we get there, her friends are in the room and they're, you know, taking turns holding the baby and stuff. And when it's my turn to hold the baby, I'm like super excited because I've had baby fever since I was like 12 years old. Anytime I see a baby, I just can't control myself. Like I just get so excited. I think that's something my kids get annoyed with me about, is because I get like super excited to see them every morning too, because they're just so cute. But okay. So I take the baby, and like literally a few seconds in, it was almost immediately after I picked the baby up, I feel this kick in my stomach and I start feeling super nauseous. And I was like, oh my goodness, like what is happening to me? I first thought that I was getting sick. So I was like, I do not want to make this newborn baby sick. So I was like, oh, she's super cute, because I didn't want to offend his cousin. So by like, you know, passing the baby off so soon. So I'm like, oh, she's so cute. And then I made like an excuse and passed her off to my mother-in-law. Nausea wasn't like a normal thing for me, so when I was out of the room, my mind was just going crazy, like, okay, what if there's a baby in there and the baby got jealous because I picked up another baby? It was no longer like you're possibly sick, it was more like, okay, you're pregnant. I don't know, I just started to think that. So when my mother-in-law comes out and she's like, you know, everything okay with you? And I'm like, well, I feel a little bit sick. She's like, maybe it's because you didn't eat breakfast this morning. So we go down to the food court. I can never decide anything. So whenever Eli and I go out, we like get something. He gets one thing, I get another thing, we split it. And then, so we did the same thing that day. And we had like 2 different sandwiches. After eating, I felt even more nauseous, to the point where on our way back home, I was like grabbing onto the door to try to like keep the puke inside of me, because, oh my God. I was grabbing onto the door to try to keep the puke inside because, well, obviously I didn't want to puke. And at this time, I am like convinced that I'm pregnant. But the only thing I want to do at this point is like make sure that Eli is the first person to know. And remember, he's back at their house, which is like almost 2 hours away. I am going to go and put Liam to sleep. Hi guys, we're back, and Claymore has decided that he wants to go in here. This happens about 50% of the time, where after I take Liam out because he falls asleep, Claymore decides that he wants to sit in the carrier too, and I do that because I don't want him to feel like he's left out, or like Liam is my favorite. I want them to feel equally, you know, loved and everything. So I will put Claymore in here and walk around with him in there as well, even though he's almost getting too heavy. But it's okay. So where was I? I think I'm in the car and holding on to the door for dear life to keep the puke inside, probably. So we make it to my in-laws' house, and Eli's there, and they're playing video games, like he and his brother. And so I'm like, you know, I'm ready to go home whenever you're ready to go home. So we get home, and Eli decides to make some spaghetti for dinner. So he makes the spaghetti with red sauce, and he brings me a plate, and I literally take one bite of it, and I'm running to the bathroom. I almost didn't make it to the toilet in time. He comes in the bathroom, and he's like, are you okay? Was it that bad? So I feel really bad because he doesn't cook a lot, and he's just really trying at this point. He's made like rice, pasta, mac and cheese a couple times, like a lot of boxed things. and he's just trying to like cook because he didn't really cook at all before. So he's just like here and there cooking a few things. And he was like, was it that bad? Like, was the pasta that bad that it made you puke? I mean, I suck at cooking. And I'm like, no. Like, it's not the cooking. The pasta was great. I just think that I might be pregnant. And then he was like, and so I sent him to the Walmart. He comes back with 3 pregnancy tests, and I take all of them, and they're all positive. And we're just staring at the pregnancy test for 15 minutes in silence, just like thinking. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't even know what I was thinking. I just know a pin drop. Like, you could hear a pin drop in that bathroom. Finally, I break the silence with, can you get me a calculator? So at this time, we are both servers at a restaurant, and I know like our average, how much we make and stuff like that. When I finally get to the calculation, I'm like super relieved that, you know, we're going to be able to make it and take care of our baby and buy diapers and all of the things. My mom had 5 of us, so I kind of have an idea with my youngest brother, like how it is going to be with babies and stuff like that. But Eli kind of is in the dark with that because his brother is only a couple years younger than him, and it's a little different for him. But once I say that we've got this, we can do it, he starts feeling like, okay, we're fine. So we start getting excited. Like, days go by, we're going grocery shopping, we stop in the kids section and look at all the baby clothes, and we see people's babies at church, and we're just getting super, super excited. We're like, we're gonna have a baby soon. We were like just super excited, and then we're like, oh, we haven't told anyone yet. We don't want anything to go wrong, so we're like, we can wait on telling everyone. Not that we felt like they were going to ruin it for us, but there is a certain niceness about keeping something good to yourself for as long as you can before everybody else knows about it. I am like, okay, Thanksgiving is coming up. I kind of want to tell everyone, you want to come out? You want to come out? Okay. Thanksgiving is coming up. I kind of want to tell everyone at the same time, like invite everyone over. Maybe we can have like a big Thanksgiving dinner thing where we tell everyone, hey, we're having a baby. And Eli's like, no, that's not going to work out well with my side of the family. His side of the family is a little bit different. They take things a little bit differently. They want to be the first to know. They don't do very well just finding out like everybody else. So I'm like, okay, we'll figure something else out. And he's like, you know, we need to tell them first, if you don't mind. My family, like my mom and dad, what are you making that face for? My mom and dad are like really chill. They don't care about learning first or anything like that. They just want to know when you want to tell them. And their story, like how they grew up and what they've been through, is what makes them so understanding about everything and all our decisions. But so he's like, we need to tell my parents first, and I think, okay, hold on, buddy. I think we need to like tell my dad first, probably. And I'm like, okay, so what's the best way to do that? He doesn't really know at the time. So I'm like, okay. A couple weeks pass, and his mom invites me to go and see our cousin's baby again. So I'm going, and we stop off at our favorite like pizza store afterwards. And, you know, I'm like, okay, I haven't told her yet about me being pregnant, but I'm going to try to keep it together. And me with secrets, like, is like, it's pretty ridiculous. Like, it's really hard for me to keep something. It's like, I don't know what else to talk about. It's like the secret is like here at the edge of my mouth, and anything else that could be talked about is just like so far down that I can't think of anything. So I'm completely awkward at the restaurant, have no idea what to say, and she's thinking that she's doing something wrong, or I don't like her or something like that. That's just kind of how she was. So I'm like, okay, I just have to tell you because you're gonna leave thinking that things aren't okay with us. So finally tell her, you know, we're having a baby. And she was super excited about it. Like, her reaction was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And then she said, before we left, if you could tell my husband and act like you haven't told me. Like, don't let him know that you've told me. Just make him think that he's the first one to know, because he hates being left in the dark, and he's always the one that's like the last person to know. So I don't like lying, so this makes me feel very uncomfortable. And I'm just like, well, I haven't told my parents yet, so just, you know, the fact that you're the only one to know, is that going to make him upset? And she's like, yeah, I mean, it would just be nice for him to be the first person to know for once. And I'm like, okay, in my head, like, that's kind of dumb, but I tell Eli when I get home. He's like, okay, well, now that you've told her, I kind of have to tell him right away, so she doesn't feel obligated to like hide something from him. I'm like, do you want to go meet with him? Do you want to, like, what do you want to do exactly? And he tells me, no, I think it's going to get like possibly physical, like in a bad way, so the best way for me to tell him, even though you're going to think this is weird, is over the phone. So I'm like, okay, I mean, I don't know them that well. They're not like, I haven't grown up with them, so you know what's best. So he calls him and lets him know. And honestly, I was so happy that he didn't actually go there, because he reacted really horribly. Like, he was calling him an idiot, telling him he couldn't do it, like saying just, what were you thinking? Are you stupid? Like, acting like we were going to be depending on him to raise the baby because we couldn't, you know, handle it financially, all of that kind of stuff. And it was offensive to both of us, because at this point we've been on our own for months, paid our rent, taken care of anything that happened with the car, and things did happen with the car, and like unexpected expenses, because they kind of just happen sometimes. And we've never had to ask anyone for money. We've done it on our own. If we needed extra money, we pick up extra shifts, stuff like that. So we have been doing a really good job taking care of ourselves, getting things done. And to have him react in this way was super offensive. But ever since that day, Eli was no longer excited about being a dad. Alright guys, I had to sit down because I was getting a little tired after holding them. Sometimes I get a little tired. So after finding out, after telling his dad, he was never really the same about me being pregnant and him being a dad. He didn't think that he could do it. He got depressed sometimes when he would think about it, and I felt really alone in that pregnancy. And also, he felt really alone because I couldn't really understand what he was going through. So us trying to help each other, even though we were trying, it was kind of like, I know you're trying, I know you care, but I kind of just need to figure this out type of thing. Sometimes people need to figure things out on their own, but they just want to know that you like support them. And that was one of those kind of things, but it sucked, the timing for me, because being pregnant with our first kid and then not feeling like he was as much involved, like happily involved like he was in the first part. I was really grateful, I guess, for the fact that we took so long to tell everyone. Then we took even longer to tell everyone else because we were like, you know, the reactions were bad. I knew my parents were going to react in a great way. I honestly should have told them first, because it wasn't even worth it to it wasn't even worth it to wait, because no one cared about being told first or anything like that. It was just stupid, if I'm being honest. My siblings, they were screaming all over the place, like, I'm gonna meet auntie, I'm gonna meet uncle. Like, Eli's brother was cool, like he was just like, oh, that's cool. And then my mom and dad, we invited them over, and they were like in our living room. This was like the second time they visited us, I guess. Yeah, they only came over when they were invited. Like, they never just dropped in, and we lived 5 minutes away from them, but they really respected our privacy. So we like invited them over for dinner, and we're sitting down and we're like, okay, so we have something to tell you. And I pull out the ultrasound picture and, you know, like give it to them, and I'm like, well, we're having a baby. And they were just like, wow, that is crazy. And, you know, like, Dad's like, I don't know what to say except for congratulations. And they were like, they were more like stunned, but happy stunned. Their reactions made me feel a lot better, because he didn't just say like, you know, that's awesome, it's great. He took Eli and I and was like, you guys are going to have less time for each other. A lot of your time is going to be spent taking care of this baby. But you guys are going to be able to do it, and you guys are going to be just fine. I mean, look at what you guys are doing here. Look at this place that you guys are living in. You guys did this, you know? You had to use your dad to co-sign, but as far as everything else, paying for everything, taking care of each other, and cooking, I mean, you guys aren't starving. You guys are doing fine. You guys are going to be just great for the baby, and if you need anything, we're only 5 minutes away, and you guys can definitely do this. And he goes in to say, you know, about how he and my mom raised us when he was 18, she was 19, and how everything worked out. And that, at that point, put a lot more hope for both of us, because we had been super down, like super down, depressed down. So at that point, Eli started to feel like, you know, if he can do it, I can do it. If he's sitting here telling me I can do it, I can do it. And so we started going back to church, because after his dad reacted the way that he reacted, we didn't want to see him, and we see him at church. So we stopped going there. And there was no apology when we actually saw his dad. It was more of like he came up to me, I remember, and hugged me, and he was like, I just want you to know that no matter what you do or say, I'll still love you. Like, I did something wrong, but he's accepting it, and he's still gonna love me even though I made this terrible mistake. But, like, he didn't apologize for his reaction to Eli or myself. He just hugged us and kind of dusted it under the rug and made it seem like he was warranted in what he said. So that was, like, something that we just had to get over without talking about. And, honestly, I really didn't care anymore about what anybody thought, because I had what I needed, and I was getting Eli back into this mode of, like, more being excited about being a dad. But the problem is they would visit, like, every week, his family, and, like, after they would visit, he would kind of be in this mode where, like, this, like, depressive mode, because he would remember what happened. And so, like, he was on and off. Like, sometimes he would think he could do it and he'd be super excited, and sometimes he wasn't. He was, like, really stressed out, or he felt like he, you know, wasn't going to be able to do it. And I was just, like, praying about it, and I was like, you know, when the baby's here and he realizes he can do it, it's going to be a lot better. And we both just have to, like, stay strong for each other for right now, and it's going to be better when the baby's born, you know? And so that is pretty much how I found out I was pregnant, and the reactions of my parents, like, and his parents and our siblings. And then, of course, we told the extended family later, and they were really excited and everything. One of the things that really bothered me, though, that I felt really uncomfortable about, was the fact that after we told his father, he was really uptight about telling his mom. Like, he wouldn't tell her. Like, he thought that she was going to put him on blast or something like that for his kid having a kid at 18. Well, actually, yeah, at 18. Which was, like, really upsetting to me, because I was like, what are we, like, children? I mean, it's not like you can go and hold your kid's hand after he's been married and say, like, okay, don't have any children, like, you know, I don't know, it's stupid. But he was really afraid of his mom finding out, and I was like, do you want me to tell her? Like, I can tell her. I mean, he stalled for, like, 2 months, and then he finally took a trip down there and told her, and her reaction was, like, fine. So, it was really weird to me, but whatever. That is kind of how it happened. And, I am kind of doing videos to let out all of my steam on all of the things that didn't go as planned in my life, because, a lot of things kind of changed for me around the time that I got married, not because of my husband, but because of the people that were involved. And this is one of the, instances, like one of the, I guess, examples of how, or what happened that shouldn't have actually happened, but it did. And I haven't really spoken about these things because the only person I really vent to is my husband. But the thing is, when your husband's family is the problem, you can't just keep on venting to him like you would usually, because that venting, it'll make you feel better, but it's going to make him feel depressed because he's going to start feeling like, I'm the problem, even though it's his family and it's not him who's causing the issue. He's going to feel like he has messed up your life, stuff like that. So you can't just keep on venting to him about it. So I have bottled up all of these stuff inside, and I've become angry and just, I don't know, I can't really recognize myself as well as I used to. I am not the person that I thought I would be today, and I'm not the person that I want to be today. I think that is because I have just kept everything inside. And I just feel like, this is not everyone else's problem. I'm not going to talk to my sister about it because she's got her own things going on. And at the same time, I don't want them to look at anyone like it's their problem. They have to see people, they have to, I don't want them to look at even Eli like he has caused a problem in my life or anything like that, because he hasn't. He is more than worth all of the things that we've been through. But because of this, all this buildup, I haven't even been able to write lately, to write things, and I'm constantly writing, blowing off steam and all of that stuff. I look at a paper now and I'm like, I don't even know where to start, because there's just so much. There's so much that I write one word and I'm just like, So I am going to, I guess, leak everything out, slowly, because Eli thinks this is the best thing for me. It's the best thing because I won't have to feel guilty telling him. And then there won't be this cycle going on of me telling him what's on my mind, and then he's getting depressed, and I'm trying to help him out of his depression, and then I'm depressed because I made him depressed, and I should have just kept it to myself. And it's just the circle that keeps on going around. So instead of doing that, I'm just going to talk about it in a place where I feel like can be my possible outlet. And then we'll see what happens from there. But so yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'm sorry I went on a super rant here. But yeah, thank you so much for watching my video, and you will see me later.